It's a sad thing that we didn't find him. It tugs at your heart.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're providing our picks for some of the most bone-chilling events to happen on the Appalachian Trail. For this list, we'll be skipping the many ghost stories that surround the trail. Instead, we'll be focusing on the real-life crimes and accidents that would make any trail hikers wary.
And that doesn't happen in national parks at all, really, does it? I mean, that's extraordinary.
The icy dangers of the White Mountains. Compared to the Rockies, the White Mountains feel approachable. They're ancient, full of well-marked trails at modest elevations through familiar woods. That misconception has cost lives. Cold is the real killer here.
But this time, witnesses say ice fell off the falls onto Tufts doctor Judith Pinsker.
Sudden storms, plunging temperatures, and wind-driven snow routinely turn routine hikes into emergencies. Hypothermia can set in fast, even in shoulder seasons. If hikers get wet or are underdressed, they can be at extreme risk.
There were signs on the victim that indicated he was confused. His coat was on backwards, which was kind of odd. And that can happen when someone gets into advanced stages of hypothermia.
Rescue teams respond every year to exposure cases across the range. Some hikers are found alive. Sadly, others succumb after getting lost, exhausted, or frozen. Cold strips away time, judgment, and margin for error in these mountains that look deceptively tame.
25-year-old Luke Paquette of Quebec was hiking with friends when he wandered off the trail to get a better look at a nearby waterfall and fell.
The machete murder. The Appalachian Trail is built on trust. Strangers share campsites. Hikers swap food, stories, and warnings. In 2019, that trust collapsed in the worst possible way. Near a remote campsite along the Appalachian Trail, two hikers encountered a man who seemed agitated and unstable. Hours later, he attacked with a machete.
The male subject who takes them is reported to have a machete.
One hiker, Ronald Sanchez Jr., was killed. The other was severely injured but managed to escape through the woods and hike for help. The attack came without warning and ended a life on a trail built around community and goodwill. The killer fled, triggering an exhaustive manhunt. The killer, James L. Jordan, was eventually captured. Jordan was found not guilty by reason of insanity and sent to an institution for treatment.
James Jordan had been arrested before for threatening hikers along the same trail.
McAfee Knob Fatal Falls. McAfee Knob is one of the most photographed spots on the Appalachian Trail.
Never hiked to McAfee's Knob, so after 65 years, I finally made it, and it's beautiful up here.
It's a sweeping stone ledge with a stunning view. It's tailor-made for Instagram, looking safe enough to sit, stand, or lean out for the perfect shot. That fiction has proven deadly. In 2018 and again in 2022, hikers fell from the summit and died. In both cases, the falls occurred near the exposed cliff edge.
Crews say he fell about 50 feet from the top of the summit.
There are no railings and no barriers. The only thing protecting hikers from a sheer drop is judgment. Rescue efforts followed both accidents, but there was nothing responders could do. The popularity of McAfee Knob has only increased the risk. As crowds gather and photos are staged, hikers keep walking the edge at their own risk.
For comparison, here's Aiden and me today and a couple of years ago. Same shot, clearer weather.
A deadly hate crime. People often think the Appalachian Trail is dangerous because of the wilderness. While that is mostly true, sometimes hikers need to fear their fellow humans. Near a remote stretch of trail in Pennsylvania's Michaud State Forest, a young lesbian couple were camping together. They became targets because of who they were. Stephen Roy Carr stalked the campsite from the woods before opening fire with a rifle. Rebecca Wight was killed. Her partner, Claudia Brenner, was critically wounded. She survived by feigning death and crawling for help. Carr later admitted the attack was motivated by their orientation. The murder became one of the earliest modern hate crime cases in the United States.
We had reason to believe that he lived in the mountain during the winter and for quite a few years.
A deadly mountain. When people picture deadly wilderness, they aren't typically thinking about New Hampshire. Mount Washington is a sleepy peak full of gorgeous fall foliage hikes and cozy, quiet woods. Yet this small mountain has proven fatal time and again. The peak sits within the White Mountain Range, where weather can turn in an instant, particularly in winter. Winds routinely reach hurricane force, and temperatures can crash in minutes.
So as these storm systems roll in, the winds are literally funneled right toward Mount Washington.
When that happens, visibility goes to zero, and you can get lost in an instant. Every year, rescuers respond to hikers suffering hypothermia, frostbite, or exposure. Some are pulled out just in time, but not all. Mount Washington has claimed many lives, not because it's tall or remote, but because it's underestimated.
You can really see it all just kind of, you know, comes together over Mount Washington, giving them those crazy, crazy weather.
The murder of Janice Balza. The Appalachian Trail in the 1970s drew a small, trusting community of hikers. Compared to today, there were far fewer people. The days felt long, the nights pleasant. That sense of safety shattered near Van Deventer Shelter in 1975. Janice Balza, a 22-year-old nursing graduate and solo hiker, stopped for the night near Van Deventer Shelter in Tennessee. By morning, she was dead. Balza had been attacked with a hatchet and killed in her sleeping bag. Answers came quickly, but grimly. A disturbed drifter named Paul Bigley confessed to the murder after approaching locals near the trail. He later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to prison. He died less than a year later, leaving the motive unresolved and the case forever unsettling. The disappearance of Dennis Martin. It's every parent's worst nightmare. You look away for a moment, and your world changes irrevocably. The disappearance happened near Spence Field inside Great Smoky Mountains National Park. During a family hike, 6-year-old Dennis Martin stepped into the woods as part of a game. When his father looked for him, he was gone.
The 3 boys scared the family, and Dennis never showed up.
His disappearance triggered one of the largest search operations in the park's history. Rangers, volunteers, and even U.S. Army Green Berets scoured the area. Helicopters searched from above.
They amassed a whole lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people.
Storms soon complicated efforts, and scent trails were lost. Weeks of searching and countless leads produced no substantial physical evidence. Dennis Martin was never located. The case remains unsolved to this day.
Nothing. He's never been spotted since.
The campsite double murder. Shenandoah National Park is often described as one of the Appalachian Trail's easiest stretches. It's full of gentle, rolling terrain with heavy foot traffic. It's a place that feels safer than most wilderness. In 1996, that assumption was shattered.
Julianne Williams and Lolly Winans were well aware and ready, but nothing could prepare them for meeting a killer in these woods.
Julie Williams and Lolly Winans set up camp in the park's backcountry while hiking together. When they failed to return, a search began. Their bodies were discovered days later at the campsite. Both women had been bound and murdered.
They were last seen alive on May 24th. Their bodies were found 8 days later.
The brutality stunned investigators and rattled hikers across the region. For years, the case went unsolved. Nearly 3 decades later, federal authorities identified a suspect, a violent drifter named Walter Leo Jackson Sr. He had already died in prison, leaving no trial and no full accounting.
Today, we are here to tell you our positive match is to Walter Leo Jackson Sr.
The Randall Lee Smith murders. The Appalachian Trail's isolation has always been part of its appeal. That isolation became a liability in southwestern Virginia. Randall Lee Smith encountered 2 hikers near a remote campsite along the trail. He opened fire without warning, and the 2 hikers were killed. Smith fled the scene and was later arrested, tried, and convicted. The case was horrifying enough on its own, but it didn't end there.
Randall Smith had a lot of mystery that stayed with him why he did such a horrible thing. I'm told that when the investigators asked him about it in 1981, he just said he didn't want to talk about it.
After serving time in prison, Smith was released on mandatory parole. In 2008, he returned to the Appalachian Trail in the same general region. There, he attempted to murder 2 more hikers, but they miraculously survived.
I didn't know what really happened. I just knew my head was ringing.
The families of his original victims later blamed the system for allowing his release.
Sean and Scott are airlifted to a trauma center just in time.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications. The disappearance of Geraldine Largay. On the Appalachian Trail, wilderness is only a few steps away. That's usually the appeal. Step off the path, though, and everything can go wrong fast. In 2013, experienced hiker Geraldine Largay became separated from her group in Maine. She stepped off the trail briefly to relieve herself and couldn't find her way back.
In a text message to her husband of 42 years, she writes, "In some trouble," she said. "Got off trail to go to the bathroom, now lost."
The dense forest hid many landmarks, and sound didn't carry. Worse, her phone had limited signal. Despite extensive search efforts, Largay was never found alive.
Wardens and others scouring the massive areas around where they thought they might find Largay, but they never did.
A few years later, her remains were discovered only 2 miles from the trail. Nearby was a journal. It revealed the most haunting detail of all. Largay survived for nearly a month, carefully recording her days as she waited for rescue that never came.
No matter how many years from now, please find it in your heart to mail the contents of this bag to one of them.
The Appalachian Trail is beautiful, dangerous, and can leave many unanswered questions. Which story stuck with you the most? Let us know in the comments below.